Hello, everybody. I just wanted to take a brief moment to let you know about an approaching webinar that's going to take place on the 29th of April at 4:30 p.m. London time. Myself and fellow astrologer Carmina Amja will be hosting a workshop together on foreign residency and how to identify it using Vedic astrology and the cards of truth system. You'll learn how to determine if the potential for foreign residency exists, and if so, when that foreign residency is likely to come into being. So the fee for this particular webinar is $79, and you can register for the webinar if you wish at the link above in the video. Thank you. Bye now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Vedic Lunar Scope. Occasionally with this particular series, I may not do the daily nakshatra. I may just go straight into a transit and tell you about a little bit of an upcoming transit. Also, over the course of this Lunar Scope series, we're going to have some special guests dropping in from time to time to add a little bit of flavor to the mix. But this particular video is about Venus's transit through Rohini Nakshatra, which is going to take place on the 26th of April, 2018, and transit through to the 6th of May 2018. Over the course of this particular transit, Venus will be making angles to both Mars and Saturn. So how do you expect to deal with the problem if all you want to do is ignore the solution? Now, granted, obviously we get presented with ideas or concepts that just in the back of our mind, we go, no, that's something I'd rather not do. That can't be right. Certainly there has to be another option. And so what do? We kind of go, I'm just going to do this instead. And we take steps in a certain direction and we push up against resistance that really on a certain level isn't going to budge. Because what we're doing is we're kind of thwarting the solution that was offered to us in the first place, right? It's like, you're kind of being given this wonderful gift. And sure, it's kind of presented in packaging that's not really so delightful when it's kind of dropped on your doorstep. And so then you go, well, why would I want that, right? And so again, you go, nah, I'm just going to send this back and I'm going to go out and get this, right? And then you find that it's something that didn't help, right? Whereas if you would have opened that package, you might have found that it would be something that you really, really needed. Now, during the particular transit, when Venus is forming an angle to Mars, Mars is transiting through Uttada Ashadha Nakshatra, whilst Saturn is transiting through Purva Ashadha Nakshatra. So there's this inner struggle that you're working through. And as you're working through this inner struggle and trying to gain a little bit of clarity, it's not like you can kind of rest on your laurels and wait for a solution to come your way. So, on one level, you can't really blame you for going, right, here's this solution, but it doesn't seem like a solution, right? Because it just seems like something that's going to present more struggle to you. And so you begin to push in different directions because inside of you, you're not clear. You're not clear on what really might be the best step, or perhaps you don't want what that best step might be. And so you're torn inside of yourself, and getting to that space where you can gain a certain sense of clarity involves, let's say, a humbling experience. Because if I use that other word, humiliating experience, you're probably not going to like that much, right? But really on a certain level, humility and even being humiliated upon occasion kind of takes us to the place where we're open to receiving the answers that we need. Why? Okay, well, let's kind of give you an analogy. If you've ever had a child before, you'll understand this. The child is doing something that ultimately is not going to be to their benefit. And you try to tell that child over and over again that that's not really going to work in your favor. It's going to bring some hardship your way. And instead, what happens, they just keep doing it and they just keep doing it until, boom, that hardship happens. Certainly, it's a little bit embarrassing for them. They don't like to face the facts that they've, made a mistake and that they should have listened to mom or dad. But then, bing, the light goes on inside of the head because they had that experience. They were taken to that space where the ego was diminished to the point that an answer could come in and they could be receptive to it. Now, this particular transit of Venus tends to present just that type of a conundrum. It's something you don't want to listen to. But if you can allow yourself to get to a space where you're open to receiving that information, where you're open to recognizing that something that you think that you don't want to happen or something that you don't want in your life may actually be something that's beneficial for you to have. If you can open your awareness, if you can expand beyond the borders of your narrow, focused view of must achieve this, He's putting his hands against the camera again. What's that all about? Must achieve this. Instead go, you know what? Sure, I may not want this, but if I do this, eventually it would make life a lot easier. So if you're willing to make your life a lot easier, then guess what? Your life is going to be easier, right? But if you don't want to make your life easier because you're afraid it'll hurt your pride, you're afraid your honor will be hit, you're concerned that if you let go of something, that what is going to be brought into your life is going to be something that you don't want. If you can let go of all of that and recognize that the answer that you're looking for really is right on your doorstep right now. Ding dong. So all you have to do is answer the door. Answer the door. And in the present, that's a pun. That's very punny, isn't it? In the present, right? If you take a look, if you open up the wrapping, sure, beneath the surface of that wrapping and beneath the surface of the wrapping of your own ego is the clarity that you need and the solution that you've been looking for. And most likely, it was there all along. If you'd like a little bit of help with this process, I should mention that I do offer several different levels of astrological service, which are available through the astrological services page of my website. If you'd like to schedule with me, you can follow the link above in this video. That'll take you to my astrological services page. That's going to do it for this special edition of the Vedic Lunarscope for Venus's transit through Rohini Nakshatra. Venus will be transiting Rohini Nakshatra coming up on the 26th of April through to the 6th of May. Until next time, please do take the very best care of yourself. Bye now.